Welcome to our series about immigration law requirements for employment visas in Germany. My name is Mirko. I am a German attorney at law. I am part of VISAGUARD. I am specialized in visa and immigration law. And in this episode, we are going to discuss the exact amount of salary which is required to apply for a work visa in Germany. In the last episode, I've already explained that there are basically three major requirements for an employment visa in Germany. The first one is a lawful employment contract. The second one is your qualification and the recognition of your qualification. And the third one, which is this video about, is the right salary. Why is there even such a requirement as a fixed salary for an employment visa in Germany? There are two major reasons. The first one is that the German government wants to protect the German labor market from cheap labor. So the government wants that unemployed people work in unqualified jobs in Germany, which are already in Germany, and that those jobs are not being given to foreigners from abroad. This is why you can usually not apply for an unqualified employment visa, and this is the reason why you need a certain salary to apply for a visa in Germany. The second one is the second reason for the salary requirement is that the German lawgiver wants to prevent discrimination of foreigners in Germany. So they're saying if you earn less than the average German employee on a position, that is discrimination. So the law says you need to earn the same amount an average German employee earns on your position. But how do we know which amount German employees earn on a certain position? There's a public database from Bundesagentur für Arbeit which contains all of the average salaries for basically all of the positions everywhere in Germany. This public database is called Entgeltatlas. Entgeltatlas can be accessed via the website from Bundesagentur für Arbeit. It is very easy to use. You just need to click through the online form, insert the position you want to work in, and then Entgeltatlas shows you the minimum amount you need to earn. The minimum amount is the lower 25%, so you need to be above the 25%. You need to choose your country, so your Bundesland where you're going to work, and your gender, and then Entgeltatlas tells you the average salary on that position. However, it should be noted that Entgeltatlas data is only from very big companies. So it is not the real average salary on that position. It is the average salary that a major company sells their employees. And also the Entgeltatlas does not take into effect your work experience. So on a junior position, your salary might be lower. On a senior position, your salary might be higher than Entgeltatlas average. A lot of foreigners struggle with obtaining the right salary for their position. Work visas are being refused a lot because foreigners do not meet the salary requirement on their position, which is partially kind of fair because employers tend to pay foreign employees less than German employees due to the fact that they're not able to speak English and that they are not so well integrated into the German working culture. However, if you do not fulfill these salary requirements, what can you do? So the first one you can check is assessing whether you're eligible for a visa that has a fixed salary requirement. So for example, for the blue card, you need to reach a threshold of around 50,000 euros per year, or 51,000 euros per year. If you're eligible for a blue card and you're above the blue card salary threshold, you do not need to fulfill the salary requirements according to Entgeltatlas. But what if you're not eligible for the blue card and you do not meet the salary requirements according to Entgeltatlas? Then your only option is to change your employment contract and your employment description. So, for example, Entgeltatlas shows the average salary for a 40 hours position per week. So if you reduce your working hours by 5 hours a week, you can also reduce your salary. In some cases, employers tend to agree to the same salary, but reducing the work hours from 40 hours per week to 35 hours a week. If increasing your salary by reducing your weekly working hours at the same salary per month is not an option for you or your employer, the next thing you can do is changing your job description and your job title. Entgeltatlas has a very long range of employment categories. There are hundreds of jobs you can compare your salary with. So, for example, if you do not match the average salary for a management position, you can maybe choose your job description or change your job description and your job title to a supportive position, like Assistenz der Geschäftsführung, or some kind of administrative description of your job instead of a management position. And then your salary can be lower according to Entgeltatlas, and then you get the approval from Bundesagentur für Arbeit. If all of this does not work, your employer doesn't want to reduce your weekly working hours, and there's no comparable position in Entgeltatlas, or Bundesagentur für Arbeit doesn't believe that you're actually working in a lower position now, the only thing you can do is argue with Bundesagentur für Arbeit. However, that's not too easy because they are very hard to reach. It's not like the foreigners office where you can just write emails or use a contact form. Bundesagentur für Arbeit is basically impossible to reach. And they're not communicating with you, they're only communicating with Ausländerbehörde. However, if you manage to get in touch with them, for example via telephone, you can argue with them that you're working on a junior position and that foreigners tend to earn less money due to the fact they don't speak German. If you're lucky, your foreigners office clerk makes a new application for you at Bundesagentur für Arbeit, and then this application gets accepted if you discussed this with Bundesagentur für Arbeit clerk before. What did we learn from this video? What is the takeaway? To apply for a work visa in Germany, you need to earn at least the average amount of a German employee on the same position. You can see which amounts you need to earn on a certain position if you're not applying for a blue card via Entgeltatlas. Entgeltatlas is a public database from Bundesagentur für Arbeit that shows the average salary of an employee in Germany on a certain position. If you're not able to reach the salary threshold of Entgeltatlas, the only thing you can do is reduce your working hours per week at the same salary, change job title or job description, or try to argue with Bundesagentur für Arbeit that you're working on a junior position or that you're only eligible for less salary due to your not existent German skills.